Former White House Chief of Staff and now Bondi Partners consultant Mick Mulvaney joins us. Mick, thanks so much. Where to start here? What is the US? What's the official line coming out of the White House now?
Well, let's look at the actions rather than the words right now, Laura, to begin with. We participated over the weekend in helping defend Israel, along with the British, I believe, against the attacks from Iran. So we're actively engaged on behalf of Israel. I understand that our government in the last couple of hours has put out a statement saying they were encouraging Israel not to retaliate. And then, of course, as you just mentioned, there's been some reporting that we've suggested we would not participate in any retaliation. That makes some sense. I would find it hard to believe that American weaponry, people would be used in attacking Iran. But so far, it looks as though we're doing exactly what one would expect. We helped Israel defend itself and now encouraging them to be cautious in their response.
So did the UK and so did Jordan to an extent. Has that raised some eyebrows there?
Not here. The Jordan probably does, although the relationship between Jordan and Israel has gotten much better over the course of the last several years. Keep in mind, Iran is not well liked amongst many in the Sunni world, in the Shia world. So that's probably not surprising. And an unprovoked attack, again, from the Iranian mainland, from the country itself. This was not a proxy attack. It was not an attack from Hezbollah or Hamas, or other Iranian funded surrogates. This came straight from Iran itself, which was the first time in history. So it's probably not surprising to see Jordan reach out to help defend Israel as well.
And how difficult is this for the United States to manage, particularly in an election year, Mick?
It is. It's going to be different. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be different than Gaza. Keep in mind, there's a very strong pro-Palestinian element here in the United States. That's different than defending Iran. Not entirely different. There are certain elements here. There's certainly anti-Israel, which of course would be against us helping Iran. But it's not exactly the same political dynamic. That being said, to the extent Joe Biden is not only the sitting president, but also a candidate for re-election, it's hard to imagine that politics isn't going to weigh in, and he doesn't want to be perceived by various folks on his extreme left as being too pro-Israel under these circumstances.
Yeah, so what's the feeling among those in Washington at the moment, Mick, that what we've seen over the weekend is a further escalation? Because I know, Israel was under pressure to end the war in Gaza. This feels like it might prolong and even extend the conflict.
Well, certainly I'm sure that's the concern all the way around the world, not just in Washington and in Jerusalem, but in Sydney and Canberra as well. But keep in mind, there's an element here that might provide an opening to not force an escalation here, which is the attack was largely ineffective. Granted, that does not excuse it by any stretch of the imagination, but reports I'm reading in the last couple of hours are that as many as 99% of the drones and the missiles were destroyed before they hit their target. So it's not as if Israel received a tremendous amount of damage. I'm not aware right now, as we have this conversation, Laura, about reports of injuries or death. So I don't want to minimize that in any way, shape, or form. But that being said, that may provide an off-ramp if the parties involved choose to look for one.